Guys, I'm live finally. Took me a while. I know it's been a while since I've been live. I'm just waiting for everyone to show up. I know it's been a while. It has been a while. I know. It has been a little while. I don't know how long I'll be on here. Oh, let me see. I need to go take a Sudafed. Um, because I decided to. Our weather's been like 110 index. Heat index of 110, but we've decided to have a heat thunderstorm. Hello, whoever you are. Hi, my nut. And so it's like had a heat. I mean, the dogs are like, we want out, we want out, we want out, jumping up and down on my head, slobbering all over me. And then all of a sudden, thunder starts. And so I go to let them out, and they're like, oh no, mom, it's thundering out there, it's lightning out there, and now it starts pouring. So they're like, we're not going out there. And now my head has started splitting because of the weather doesn't know what it wants to do. And the dogs, I mean, I barely got them to go out and do the business, and they're like, let us back in. Oh, so I just took a Sudafed to let my poor head equalize because it's like, oh, the weather. And we don't know. We don't know. Oh, so it has been crazy. But I've got the house air conditioner up and running finally. Thank God before the 110 heat indexes got here. My Camaro, the air conditioner's in it, but we figured out, he's got everything done, but whenever the radiator hose busted, my son put, I don't know, what do you call that stuff? Stop leak in it. Don't ever do that because it messed up the thermostat to where that was all jacked up. And he was like, yeah, it's like not right. He says, I'm not letting you drive it. And so we had to go get a thermostat. And so he's working on that. So I'm up to 2 air conditioners are working. And then the car place called and was like, yeah, your rear air conditioner, it was shot. So yeah, you're going to have to get that one replaced at $1,200. And they said, oh, by the way, when we were putting in your CV axle, when we were replacing the transmission, it's in such bad shape the guy doesn't want to put it back in your car. So you're looking at, we're going to have to get a new CV axle in there. So at least it's only the part at $300. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm just like, oh God, will it stop? Will it stop? I mean, literally, will it stop? I mean, literally, my head's been like, ah, ah. And then my daughter's like, Mom, I mean, these are the phone calls I've been getting for like the last 7 weeks. I mean, the last 7, that's why I haven't been doing. Oh no. No problem. But like the last 7 weeks, it's like these have been the phone calls I have been getting. That's why I have not been doing lives. I've been like, my head's been expanding and blowing up and just like been on like overload. My daughter calls me. My daughter don't call me. I don't know phone calls from my kids. My kids been abandoning me. Like I call them and they're like, oh, we got to go, Mom. We got to go, Mom. I was like, I felt abandoned. I really did. And so she calls me. She's like, her dog's like 14 years old. And she's like, we can't afford to put her down. And she wanted to know if my brother would, do it for her out here in the woods. And he was like all about, oh no, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, we can't afford it because it's almost $200 now to put your dog down here for some reason, some god awful reason. I don't know why. I guess they think everyone can afford, $200 to put their dog down. That's crazy. And so I was like, oh, she's like, what can we do? Do you have any ideas? And I was like, yeah, I do. I said, those back muscle relaxers I gave you, and I was given them by my doctor with the explicit instructions: never take two. Whatever you do, don't take two. She's like, yeah. She goes, those 4 milligram things. I said, yeah. I said, give her 5. She's like, okay. I said, just give her 5. I said, she'll go to sleep and she won't wake up. And she was like, okay. I mean, I felt bad for telling her that, but I mean, seriously, she'll go to sleep and she'll just go to sleep and she just won't wake up. And so she goes, well, how do we give them to her? I'm like, you just put them down her. So finally she calls me. She goes, well, we got them down her throat finally. And then she calls me 20 minutes later and she goes, well, she's still here. And I'm like, well, yeah. And she's like, well, I'm like, okay. I said, I told you she would go to sleep and just wouldn't wake up. She goes, well, she's still here. And I'm like, well, how's she breathing? She goes, well, her breathing's getting slower. And I'm like, yeah, and then it'll just get slower, and then it'll get slower, and then it'll get slower. And then eventually she'll quit. And so like an hour and 20 minutes later, she finally called me and she goes, she's no longer with us. And I said, that's what I was telling you. I said, eventually her body will just forget to breathe. And she goes, oh. And I was like, well, did she go peacefully? And she goes, yeah, she went very peacefully. She just went to sleep and just went quit. But it was like, the poor dog, it was like she hadn't eaten in like 4 days, and she wasn't drinking, she wasn't eating. Her legs couldn't hold her up no more, and then it was pitiful. And I was like, yeah, it's time. I said, it is time. She was just having liquid stool and, was just standing and peeing all over herself. I said, it is time. It is time. I said, I hate that you don't have the money to go in and have her just give them a shot and put her down. And your brother's too much of an asshat to do it. And I said, I can't do it. I'm not, I just can't put a gun to a dog's head and do it. And so, so this is my solution. And so that's what they did. They went out and they dug a hole where they planned to put her, and that's how they did it. So this has been my thing. It's like, ah. And then I spent 3 days steam cleaning carpets to where I have this mysterious spot that just keeps coming back. Just keeps coming back. Oh, yeah. And then the 3 weeks, I'll tell you this one. The 3 weeks that I was without an AC in the house. Literally, I had no AC in the house except for the one stand-up one I have in my dining room that I was using to equalize my house, because my old AC guy was evidently an idiot that I found out through my new AC guy. And I'm sitting here and I see this big thing running across my living room. Turns around, it's a tarantula. They were coming up, since there's no air of any kind blowing up through these vents. And I had bought these decorative vents. They had these big holes on the top of them. They were coming up through the vents since there was no air coming through them. And so captured it, because me and my friend were watching TV, and captured it and took it out. Well, it was a girl. So 3 days later, here comes a bigger one, and it's the boy. And oh, there wasn't no one here to capture that one, so I had to do it. And I captured it, and it was late at night, and I was like, I ain't letting that thing run around while I go find someone to capture it. So I manned up and captured it, and took it over there with a flashlight, and he was just laughing. He was, "Oh, you had to man up," and I was like, "Yeah, I had to man up because I wasn't letting that thing run around, in the house." So I manned up and I captured it, and yeah, because I wasn't letting that thing run around in the house. No way, no way, no way, no way was I letting that thing just run around. So nope, wasn't letting that thing run around. So captured it, got it out, and then I just put boxes over it until I bought new vents that had little bitty, itty bitty little slats, so nothing could come up through them. But I had boxes all over them. And then I finished my dragon. It's up on Nyx's whip parade, and it's also on my Facebook page. So I finished my big diamond painting with the dragon. Oh, she's gorgeous. She was so colorful. So that is completed. I got to get a toothbrush or a soft bristle brush so I can get all the wax. Hi, Minnie. Welcome, welcome. So I can get a brush and get all the little, the wax that sticks to the drills when you're doing them. So I can get that off of there, and get them rolled down because, it's unique leaders and sometimes they don't stick as well. So I'm going to get the wax off of it, get it rolled down real good. And since it's not going to be um, behind any glass or anything, I may go ahead and put some polyacrylic down on it. So, to make sure it's good. And so we'll tack it up. I bought some flat thumbtacks. We'll tack it up, get it nice and flat and up on the wall. And then Jim will sit there and do some little slats about this big and miter them on the corners. And then we'll spray paint them black and make it like a frame and frame it and put it up on the wall. But she is totally done. Oh, beautiful. So that's my last one. And then the last one is going to go up my bedroom will be Mask of Love. So she'll be the last one that goes in my bedroom. So I'll have Mask of Love. I'll have that orangey one, the Psyche's Dreams. And then I'll have Dragon Dancers. And then I'll have Once in a Blue Moon. So it's my whole bedroom is just walled with Josephine Wall. Just boop, Josephine Walls. Boop, 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 boop. So yeah, I have a Josephine Wall room. It's the Josephine Wall room. And then I had my grandkids, all 5 of them, for like a week, and we hydro dipped deer jaws. That was interesting with little kids. They hydro dipped their arms more than they did anything else. That was kind of comical. I mean, spray paint all the way up their arms. I did more arm scrubbing than anything else. And then me and my granddaughter, we did a tumbler for her. So that was pretty cool. So I would have videoed it, but trying to do a tumbler with an 11-year-old or 12-year, she's 12, so a 12-year-old, that was kind of a feat in itself without even trying to. Yeah, it was very fun without trying to video it. But I am fixing to do a chessboard, so I will be videoing the chessboard because I'm going to do a chessboard for me and Jim, and I'm thinking of doing it in like a translucent kind of black, like a soft black, not a black, but like a soft black, more of a softy kind of black. So with mica powder, and then a translucent blue. So that'll be pretty. And then I'll be working on it, and then I decided that my one domino set that's pink and white, I'm just going to give it to my granddaughter for Christmas, and then I'm going to make a black and red set for my grandsons, so she can play with her girlfriends by herself with her pink and white set, and let the boys have a black and red set. And then I have my bluish pinky set for myself. Yeah. And I gave my grandson that just turned 7 his tic-tac-toe board for his birthday. And my daughter said, yeah, he really likes it. He's sleeping with it in his bed. And I was like, yeah, he must like it. And I gave her that purple set of the square set of coasters I made. I gave those to her because she finally got here for Mother's Day, and she snatched them puppies up and went and took them, put them in her car. So she liked those. I finished my gallon tub of resin, so I'm fixing to have to open up a half-gallon tub of resin and start working with it. And I'm going to make a little bitty skull, and I have a big tall crystal that Jim had given me, a quartz crystal, and I'm going to stick it in this because I'm making it for him. And I'm going to put it right smack in the middle of the skull, standing straight up, and then I'm going to put amethyst up each side of it and pour like translucent purple. So it'll be a translucent purple skull with the quartz crystal and then the amethyst up each side. So that'll turn out interesting. And later today, because every time he goes fishing with my brother, because my brother always hauls him off fishing. And every time he comes home, he'll come over and he hands me handsfuls. He'll walk up and he'll say, I got something for you. And I'm like, hmm. And he'll hand me handsfuls, and he'll walk up and down where they're fishing at, and he'll collect petrified wood and amber. And he'll come over and he'll hand it to me, and he goes, here. He goes, tumble this and it'll be gorgeous. And so I got about 6.5 pounds of amber chunks and petrified wood. And so I'm fixing to pull it out and put it like in the third phase, which is like the almost polishing. And then I got one more. So I got a week of like almost to the polish, and then a week of polishing. And so almost done. And then like the last 2 times they've gone fishing, he's come over and let me get him and I'll show you what he's handed me. Every time he goes, he hands me stuff. Yeah. Okay. This is the first thing. I got this day before yesterday. And I was like, how long did it take you to make that? Isn't that pretty? He goes, oh, 15 minutes. And I was like, really? I said, that looks like it would take a lot longer than 15 minutes. He goes, oh, when I first started making them, it did, but now I can do them in 15 minutes. I was like, wow. But it's an arrowhead he made. He makes them. Isn't that cool? And then this one. Isn't that pretty? And that one's like gray glass. It's made out of an old TV screen. Those are so cool. A diamond painting monster. That's cool. Yeah, we finished the originals. We just now got finished watching the originals, and we just started watching The Boys. And The Boys, let me tell you, is the weirdest show. The weirdest show. Because I actually asked them, I said, can a head really explode? I mean, like explode, explode. Like if you're in a fight and you punch it enough, it just explodes. I said, not just like, you know, pop a little spot. I said, explodes? And he went, yeah. I said, for real? He said, yeah, for real. I was like, wow, okay. I thought that, I mean, it's one of the producers is Seth Rogen. So I said, they must have been doing some really heavy drugs when they came up with this stuff. Because I just, whoa. And it's on Amazon Prime. So if you got Amazon Prime, you can watch it. But it's like, whoa, man, just like, whoa, you can tell they've been doing some really heavy, wow, out there drugs. Like really out there drugs. And it was like, he goes, yeah. He was like, interesting. That's cool, but that is really cool. And I don't know if y'all heard about what all was going on here in Arkansas last week. Oh my freaking God, last week was awful. Awful. Last week from like Wednesday, Tuesday, from Tuesday to Friday. Tuesday to Friday, we had a wreck in Conway, which is where I go to my doctor's appointments, that a semi full of watermelons. I mean, my rounds, when I do rounds, you can't, I mean, my rounds look just as good as my squares, truthfully. I mean, they do. I mean, they used to not, but now they do. But on Tuesday, they had a wreck on the interstate with watermelons that it shut the interstate down for 3/4 of a day because there was watermelons all over. I mean, wall to wall watermelons. So it shut the interstate down. They were telling people they had to use the little 2-lane road on the other, over on the other side that used to be like the little road. And then they had a train that had a toxic gas leak. And they were telling people not to be outside, stay indoors, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and then in my town, the one that's like my nearest my town that I go to, my town, um, we had a guy that was loose that had been going cross country jacking cars, and every car he jacked, he was killing the people as he jacked them. And he decided to go to my small town. He would have done better if he'd gone to one of the bigger towns. But no, he decides to go to my small town to lay up in. And then they had a massive manhunt and had closed my small town. They had helicopters looking all over for him. It was like almost like an Amber Alert all over our phones about stay in your house, lock your doors, blah, blah, blah. They had cops, state troopers, cops from the nearest cities all over looking for him, in town. They had him going through people's houses, checking in like their basements and in their houses, making sure he didn't get in. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it was nuts. And they did capture him finally after a day and a half. After a day and a half, so I guess he didn't think he'd get caught there because it was a small town. Lo and behold, he doesn't realize in a small town, everywhere in this country, small town, everyone's locked and loaded and, ready to shoot your ass. I mean, it was like, oh my God. And then we had that crazy fool that went into a small town with one grocery store and decided to start shooting outside and went in and blew up like, I don't know, 13 people and killed 4 and shot up 10. It's just crazy. Crazy. And you guys have probably seen it on your news stations because they've had it on the news in LA. I mean, the LA news stations have had it on their news, so I imagine it hit your news. And I mean, for no reason, no criminal history, just decided to go in there and start shooting people up. It was just like all within 1 week. It was just like, oh my living God. It's like, and that's just like in little podunk towns, like Fordyce. Fordyce is a little podunk town. I mean, it has one grocery store, one little grocery store. And it's like a little, like the Mad Butcher or some shit, like a no name grocery store. I was just like, oh Lord. I mean, it's not even like a known, it's not even like a Walmart or a Kroger or, it's a no name store. I don't know what it is. It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I was like, whoa. And then you had the guy, I don't know, he must have had an angel standing in front of him. But and I saw his thing because he was in the hospital, and he did get hit. He got hit by 2 or 3 of the bullets, just kind of grazing his head and stuff. But he was like, I was in the pharmacy getting medicine for my wife that has terminal cancer, and he goes, it just went all over me, and I was like, oh hell no, not in my town. And he went storming out of the pharmacy and across the road. And he goes, I was just telling him, you quit shooting. And he goes, I was getting a hold of ladies that were like worried about their food, telling them, don't worry about your groceries, go get in your car and leave. I was just like, oh my God, talk about balls. I don't know if I'd had balls like that to walk in the bullets and tell people to get in your car and leave. I was just like, oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. I mean, I was just like, because out here where I live, they were out here with helicopters flying around looking out here in my woods looking for him. I mean, I was just like, I was locking doors and I was sitting here at the door I was sitting here with my pistol guarding my doors, because, I had the 5 kids, so I had my doors locked and I had sitting in a chair where I could see both doors with my pistol loaded, just in case. Because I was just like, oh my God, if they're out here flying out here, then they're worried that he either hitched a ride or, because I was just like, oh my God, I was freaking, because they had no clue. I mean, because if they're out here flying around, they had no idea where he was at. It's been that kind of week. It has literally been that. It was just like, oh God. I'm just kind of glad that it's all settled down. Then you can hear my little brigade. Either someone's driving by or walking by. Because they're all like, woo, 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 woo. They're all doing the woo-woos. It's like, oh my Lord. Oh. But I think the one that got me really good was the tarantulas running across the floor. Because my big dog was trying to stomp on it, Oh, it was coming up on my YouTube, guys. It was like I didn't even have to watch the news. It popped up on my YouTube. I was like, ah, I didn't even have to go to the news. It had popped up on my YouTube. I mean, it was like, holy shit. You see, the mass shooting showed up on my YouTube, and the dude that was holed up in my town, he popped up on my phone as almost like an Amber Alert thing. I was like, holy crap. It was like, man, because it was like on my Facebook, I have the local town site, and they had put out a Amber Alert thing for the town of like, don't be out in town, don't be walking around, kind of thing, and pictures of them. And if you see this guy, call police station. And I was just like, oh. And this is in a podunk town. Yeah, on I was on watching YouTube's, and the one from Los Angeles news popped up about the Fordyce one, and I was just like, wow, it made Los Angeles news. Yeah, my friend is kind of an ex-boyfriend, but don't dare call him boyfriend because he's like, nah, I don't want to be a boyfriend. We're just friends. So I'm like, okay, we're just friends. No, we hang out and we watch TV, and right now he's redoing my whole car, but we're just friends. But that's fine as long as it's got cold air. I don't care what I call you. I'll call you Scruff if I got cold air in my car. I don't care what I call you. Yesterday he brought over his clothes, so his clothes are in the dryer. And we watched the last episode of Originals, and I still got teary eyed. I said, now that's the third time I've seen that whole series, and I still get teary eyed. And then we watched like I can't ever get to where I can watch the first episode of The Boys for some reason, but we watched the second episode of The Boys. And then he said he had to go over and do some more stuff on the car. He's trying to figure out what the last shop that did some work on it did to it that makes it where my stereo don't work. So he's over there doing something to it. But he's been working on it for 2.5, 3 weeks. Like 2.5, 3 weeks. And it was so funny. He said, yeah, I've been so mad at that car. He said, I've been done some cussing. He said, not real loud, but done some cussing. He said, yeah, and I've thrown tools real well. Hi, Anita. Now, we split 25 years ago. But then I found out what I threw him out for wasn't for real, wasn't a real reason because what I was told didn't happen. So I felt like really bad. And he's like, no, he said, what happened needed to happen because what happened from it, needed to happen. So I was like, okay. He said, because I needed to get straightened out and a lot. So I was like, okay, if you say so. But I still feel like crappy. I should, so I said I should have been more grown up about it and went to you instead of just taking them at their word. And I'm so glad for you, Muttnut. And so now we're really good friends with no expectations. Like I'll be over here, and next thing I'll know, I'll see him walking by the window, and I'll stick my head out, and he goes, "Oh, I'm fixing to mow your lawn," and he'll get on and mow the lawn, and it's just like, okay, so he'll come over and he'll mow the lawn, or he'll do this, or he'll do that, or he'll come over and we'll watch a couple hours of a show, or if he feels like it, he'll come paint a wall, or do some stuff. Or like when I'm ready to hang that picture up, he'll come hang the picture up, and so now it's more of a really good friendship instead of expectations. He said that way if I'm in a really crappy mood and not fit to be company, I don't have to be fit for company. So I was like, yeah, I guess that's in a way that's good. And if I don't feel like being fit for company, I don't have to be fit for company. He goes, and if I feel like cooking for someone, I come over and I cook for you. And if you feel like cooking for someone, you cook for me and call me and say, hey, come eat. And that's kind of what we do. I mean, there's times he'll sit there and cook and say, come over, I've cooked dinner. And I was like, okay. And that's kind of what we do now. I mean, one day he sits there and cooked fried potatoes and fish and something else and said, come on over, I cooked dinner. And I'm like, okay. That's nice, Buttnut. See, with Jim, him and my brother like that. If they want to go hunting, they just go. And if they want to go fishing, they just go. And they come back when they just feel like it. So that doesn't work if you got significant others or girlfriends. So it wouldn't work for them to have girlfriends. So they don't need actual girlfriends in their life because it doesn't work. And I think that's what eventually broke up his marriage, is the fact that is, if you got a husband that takes off with his buddy and, doesn't come back till he feels like it, that doesn't work off so real well, because you feel like, he's not giving his all to you. I mean, you feel like when his bud calls that his bud gets more of them than you do, and that's not going to bode well for your marriage. And I think that's what eventually did the marriage in. Oh, my brother does not like to share, Jim, at all. At all. Like when he was working on my car, it pissed him off so bad. Because Jim finally told him, he said she needs the car to go to her doctor's appointment, so I've got to work on it. And it just kind of ticked him off because, he told him, he said, I've got to work on it. I got to get it done. And it just really ticked him off, because that's his bud, been his bud his whole life. And, it just pisses him off. It's like, sorry, little brother, you got to get over it. Because they've been best friends. My mother's 53 and he's 55. So they've been best friends since they were a couple years apart in school. And so, I mean, it's just, they grew up together and they've been best friends forever. I mean, except for when he was in the military, and then when he got back, they, were best friends again and running high and tight. And so it's just, it's just, he just doesn't really like to share because he's afraid it'll mess up their friendship. I mean, he's just really worried it'll mess up the friendship. And I think that's his biggest fear, is it'll mess up the friendship. So it's like, it ain't going to mess up the friendship. I'm not going to tell him, hey, you can't be friends with my brother. Hell, half the time the stuff my brother does, he thinks is stupid anyway or dumb. He'd sit there and talk. He says, your brother's got so much alphabet. And I keep telling him they make drugs for that. Because my brother's so OCD, it's unreal. And he'll mess with my brother because my brother's got to have everything lined up and in a certain way. And Jim's like me. He's just like, right now he's trying to clean up some of his mess. Like when my dog food boxes come in and stuff, he'll gather them, and so he's kind of to pack up some of his stuff as he unloads his house, and he's trying to pack it up, and then we're like stacking it. The stuff that can't be out in the heat, we're stacking in the boys' bed, what was the boys' bedroom, since the boys really don't use it, and the stuff that can take the heat, we're putting out in my shed. And so he's trying to, box it up and get it to where he can put it out in the shed. Because he said it just bugs your brother. It's not his, so it can't be here. But he says, I just toss it and throw it on the table, and it's just killing him because it's not neat. He goes, and I do it on purpose because I know it just drives his brain into overdrive. And then I watch him. He said, I sit there and do it on purpose because it just throws his brain into meltdown. I mean, it's comical. It is comical because he does it on purpose because he says it just drives his brain into total meltdown. So I was like, that is so evil. He said, yeah, but it's so fun to watch. I was like, but that is so evil. And he goes, yeah, but it's fun to watch. I was just like, the Lord. I said, but that's evil. He goes, yeah, but it's fun to watch. I mean, it is kind of funny, but it is evil. I mean, you got to admit that is really evil. I mean, I was just like, oh my God, that's so evil. Like, really evil. But he does it on purpose. He said, because I know your brother is just like melting and imploding because it's, but I mean, I can really tell when my brother's gone for a week, you go in there and you can tell Jim's, I mean, because he works piddles and then on my brother's there, everything's totally clean. And I said, yep, you can tell he's been here. And he's just, yep. I said, well, his alphabet's been at work. I keep telling him. He goes, I tell him that they got meds for that alphabet. I said, yeah, I know. But he won't believe you, will he? And he goes, nope. It's so funny. It's just, it cracks me up. It just makes me laugh. Makes me laugh. It's comical. It is comical. But Jim was so sweet the other day because he stayed up all night to get that car ready for me to take because I had a doctor's appointment at 10:30 in the morning on Monday. So he worked on it all night Sunday night because my brother drug him out all night Saturday night to fish, right? So they didn't get in until late, late Sunday, like 6 o'clock. And he looked dead beat, because they've been out there in the heat all day Saturday. Well, they left late in the evening Saturday. So they were out there all night day Saturday till late Sunday. And he come in and he looked dead beat. I mean, he looked beat and he started grabbing stuff to work on the car. And he looked tired. And then I got woke up Monday morning at 7 o'clock by hearing my car drive up in the driveway. And I was like, so I come out there and I looked at him and I was like, how late did you? Hi, Diamond Queen 2020. I was like, how long did you work on that car? And he goes, all night long. And I was like, oh my God. He goes, but I can't let you have it. He goes, look at this. It's boiling out. He goes, I think the thermostat's bad. He goes, when y'all use that stop leak, he said, I think it messed up your thermostat. He said, I have the heater on in there and it's not blowing any hot air. He goes, and it's boiling out. He goes, and so he went and turned it off. And when he did, immediately you heard, he said, uh-oh. He goes, there it goes. And then you heard it go, and you could hear the water go in the engine. That was when the water let loose and finally went into the engine. He goes, it just opened it up and went in the engine, and then that thing was empty. He said, I can't let you drive it. He said, because we can't take the chance of it blocking again. It'll blow your engine. He says, so I can't let you take it. He said, let me go get the truck and I'll drive you to your appointment. So after being up all night, he went and got the truck, my brother's truck, and he drove me to my doctor's appointment that morning. And then he sat out in the truck because he goes, I am filthy. He said, I went fishing. I didn't take a shower, worked on your car all night. He says, I'm filthy. I'm not, because he was like, I really need to go in and find out how to apply for my disability. He goes, but I'm not going to go in. He says, I am too dirty to go in. He said, so I'll do it next time. Next time you have an appointment, I'll come up with you and go in and ask how to go about doing it. So he said, but I'm not going to do it right now because he goes, I am just too filthy. So he sat out in the car for an hour while I had my appointment. And then I said, well, I'm going to buy Aldi's because I wanted to get some of these protein shakes because the protein shakes at Aldi's are like you get 6 of them for seven and some change. And I said, well, do you want anything? Because, you drove me up here. I said, do you want anything? And he says, well, I could use a loaf of bread. So I went ahead and he said, maybe a can of chili or two. So I went ahead and got him like 3 cans of chili and a loaf of bread. And I know he likes white cheddar popcorn and a couple other things I got him. And so, I went ahead and got my protein shakes and that. And I got a couple bags of, some salad stuff for me and stuff like that. And so I went ahead, I mean, I got a full cart, a full freaking cart for like $130. And he was like, "You got all that for $130?" And he was like, "Wow, I am amazed." And then, like, when, last night he told me, that is the best loaf of bread. That's the best bread. I said, "Yeah, that bread was like $1.25 for a loaf." He's like, "That is the store to go to." That is the store. And I said, "I know. That's a really good store." And, but he wouldn't even go in there because he said, "I am just too dirty." So he was like, "Can't let you have it." And he goes, "We got to stop at those AutoZone and order or get a thermostat." He went, he went in that night because he had to go back because I had to order it to get it. And when he picked it up, he said, "That is the most expensive thermostat I've ever seen." He goes, "That thing was like almost $30 by the time you paid tax on it." I said, "Yeah, but I bought the lifetime one. So if it ever goes out, all I got to do is just take the receipt in there and pick up another one." I said, "I don't ever have to buy another one." He said, "Yeah, you always buy the lifetime. Even if you pay a couple of extra bucks, you always buy a lifetime because even if it goes, whenever it goes out, always buy a lifetime. Because like if you buy brakes and pads, buy lifetime. Because say it goes out in 3 years, 2 years, well, of course they're going to be more expensive, but you get a brand new set for nothing. And they're, of course, they're more expensive then because time, but you get brand new ones for nothing. So in the long run, it's cheaper. Always buy lifetime." And it was like he's like, "Yeah, it was worth it in the long run because when it goes out, you get a free one for nothing." But it was like, wow. He said, "I was thinking, $10." I said, "Well, it would have been 13." I said, "But then when it goes out, you're probably paying 18." He goes, "Yeah, you got a point." I said, "Yeah." So I figured, yeah, 23, but or 25, but if it goes out, then I don't have to pay anything. He goes, "Yeah, you got a point. Got a point." So yeah. And I was like, "Well, it always had that, little water thing." He said that was because thermostat was bad and it was stuck. And I was like, aha. So yeah, he's been working on the car. He's he fixed the stuck brake thing, he fixed the thermostat thing, now he's trying to fix the radio thing. So yay. I'll have working car. And when I get the other one back, I'll have two working cars. Fully functional cars. So that'll be a great thing. He fixed the door so I can go wash it and not get soaked. So yes, that'd be great. And then I'm working on a landscape, like a summer landscape with a camp out scene. So yeah, it'll be nice. I'm working on a landscape scene thing. So that'll be nice. That will be nice. But yeah, it's been almost an hour. So I think I'm gonna hop off of here. But at least I finally made it. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I love y'all. Sorry I haven't been here in for like ever and ever and ever. Thank y'all for coming. I'm sorry it hadn't been all diamond painting and it's all been my crazy life. A dog on the potty. Is it the one with the newspaper? I have that one. Where's the canine news? I have that one. That is so cute. That's a cute one. Hey, Anita, I'm so glad you made it. He has a cell. That's cute. I don't think I've seen that one. That is cute. That is cute. That is adorable. Now that is cute. So yeah, and believe it or not, I was so happy with my AC man, the one for the house, that I actually gave him a Jasmine Beckett Griffith I had done, the one with the dragon, and I had the little fairy from Craftably that's sitting on the mushroom done and up on the wall, and I gave them that one. I gave them that one for their daughter's room because I told them I needed wall room, so I gave them that one because they did so much that they did not charge me for. So I was just so super happy because there was stuff they didn't charge me for that they did that I was just ecstatic. So I was like, here, thank you, thank you, thank you, and here's a gift. But it was the JBG of the dragon sitting on her shoulder that was framed, and I gave them that one as a gift. And then the one where it's the fairy that's on the mushroom, that was done, that I gave them that one. And that way I can do magic happens and put it up there. So yeah, I gave those two away as gifts to the guy, and he was, oh my god, he said, you've just made my daughter's day because I'll put these up in her room, and she will. He goes, this one will be my wife's because she'll love this one with the little dragon, and this one will go up in my daughter's room with the fairy because she'll love it. So it made people happy, and I got wall space to put them, put some stuff up now. So because it's really hard to sell the completed ones, even though everyone says, I don't have the patience to do them, but they don't want to buy them. So, and people who sit there and say, just give me, I don't want to give them to them. But if you want me, if you're really like it and I'm in a giving mood, I'll give it to you out of the goodness of my heart. But if you try to con me out of it, then I won't. Kind of the way I am. Just the way I roll. It's kind of just the way I roll. If I'm in a giving mood and you really like it, then I'll give it to you out of the goodness of my heart. But if you're like, oh, I really like that, just give it to me. No, no, no. I don't roll that way. So, yeah. Well, everyone, I will try to pop up here again next week. And I will try what I'm working on the chessboard to get on there and show everybody how it's looking. And I think for the chessboard, I got these like ketchup and mustard squeeze bottles thingies. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put like the stuff for the squares in those squeeze bottles. And then that way, maybe I'll be able to have more control. So, bye, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful day and the rest of the week. Love y'all. Make sure you hit thumbs up, comment. Love y'all. Bye. It really does help the channel. It pushes it out there. I keep forgetting to say that, but make sure you hit thumbs up, pushes it out there, gets it moving. Love y'all. Bye. Even hit share. Share me around. Bye, everyone.